Just enjoy.
Right. Do you want to? I mean, do you want to start? How do you want to formally announce this?
We can just jump right in.
I was going to say this is not. There's no action to be taken, so this is just an informal presentation by the city administrator.
Yeah, it is the Andrew show.
Yeah. Well, with that, I'll just take it away, Mayor. Thank you. And council members, thank you for rescheduling this on short notice. I appreciate that. As I mentioned last Wednesday, the annual report can be found in its entirety on the city's website. If you go to the top, you'll see the departments tab. Click on that down to administration, and it's at the bottom of that page. So folks are tuning in and they're interested in reading the entire report, that's where you can find it. I also mentioned last Wednesday that we haven't done one of these since the year 2000. That's the last one we could find. So 25 years, but we're back on track, and we intend to do this on an annual basis going forward. So bear with us here as we transition, having to create the document and having to input all the information the first time. And before I jump in, I just want to thank all the department heads and staff that contributed to this, and then, of course, Lynn, who did 99.9% of the heavy lift putting this together, and both the report but also the slides as well. So she deserves all the credit. I'm just up here stealing the glory. So. Yeah. No.
You're just the eye candy.
I guess, yeah.
We know.
I hear that all the time. All right, well, we'll keep this informal, so if anybody has questions or wants to interrupt me, feel free to do that. I'll run through the slides. We'll go department by department. I think every department head or just about everyone is in the room, and if they have anything to add, they can certainly jump in as well. So we'll just navigate through, and then I'll try to leave some time at the end for questions that you might have. So speaking of eye candy, this slide is the best one we got. So our elected officials.
The greatest is in the last. How's that sound?
So our elected officials for the year, obviously, you guys know all of them. And our elected officials in 2025, with some new faces, had a renewed focus on a couple of things, looking at policies, process, procedure, a renewed focus on partnerships, and then probably, and most importantly, economic development. That was a very clear theme in the work that you all did and the conversations you had over 2025. Okay, I'm going to jump right into the department in alphabetical order, starting with administration. We had, like I said, a new council at the beginning of 2025, so we spent some considerable time with our new members with orientation and training. We hosted 74 meetings with all of you in 2025, which is a really astounding number between all the special meetings, work sessions, retreats, council meetings, so a lot of interaction between the council and staff. We saw significant staffing changes with the retirement of some of our department heads, with the restructuring of some departments, with departures of others. I'll touch more on those as we go through the slides. Licensing was a unique and interesting challenge in the year of 2025. We saw the beginning of cannabis licensing, which was quite the adventure. And then we had a few challenges, as you all saw, with tobacco licensing this year, and alcohol has been a challenge as well. We hosted a communications intern in 2025 that did a really good job of getting ahead of a lot of things and prepping forms and other various materials that we'll be able to use now and into the future. And then I just wanted to mention the city attorney. He sits through our meetings, puts a lot of time and effort into this. I don't have a separate slide on it, but wanted to make sure that we just acknowledge Rolf and the work that him and his firm do, Joe being our prosecutor, and the many year partnership that we have, which is appreciated. One thing I want to touch on, we have seen an increasingly engaged community over the last year. Our new website, which launched at some point in 2024, has over 2.5 million visits, and our YouTube views for the public meetings, your guys' meetings, have more than doubled in 2025, and we continue to see good traction with that. So we have people that are looking to be engaged citizens, that are seeking out that information and that are paying attention. And one other note with the website views, the number one page that people are viewing is the city council members. So they're looking at ways to be able to interact with their members, see who's representing them. I'm guessing from there they launch into the minutes, agendas type thing. But again, it shows that the public is very engaged and interested in what's happening at the council level. Looking ahead in 26, we are going to look forward to a number of elections this year, which is a very significant amount of time and energy that goes into that. So it'll be another election year. Community development, who is overseen by Community Development Director Clara Beck, obviously does the bulk of the work as it relates to boards and commissions. She's the liaison for a majority of our boards and commissions. Oversees our zoning code. Cannabis, again, was a huge thing in 2025, which was significant work, and Clara led us through the different zoning changes and the work that comes with that. Sculpture Walk was created in 2025, and Clara had a significant role in that. And then as the Port Authority Executive Director, overseeing the properties and leases there. The business development of Fergus Falls program lent out just shy of $500,000 in 2025 in various loans for businesses. So good to see some activity there, and hope that continues in 2026. Okay, next slide. I'm going to roll fairly quickly just so we can get done with enough time to leave to entertain questions. Economic development, you'll note that this slide shows Dr. Lamone's report through January of 2026. He'll be presenting to you this evening at the City Council meeting metrics through February of 2026. So they'll look a little bit different than this. It's just based on the time in which this was prepared versus when he supplied the next month's data. So between the October and January, he's actively engaged with 30 businesses. There's 5 active expansion projects that are in the works or in planning stages. He's met with 10 banks and financial institutions. We're looking at 60 potential new jobs created as a result of the expansions and engagements that he currently has. He's looking at working over $7 million in state and federal incentives for those projects. And then he's worked 3 vacant or underutilized properties looking for new tenants, and 15 retail small businesses has provided technical assistance to them. So again, he'll have updated numbers for you this evening, which are impressive. That's been a really good change for the city, and I think Dr. Lamone has done a remarkable job in the short time that he's been with us. So, engineering, Kyle Meyer with Moore Engineering as the city's engineer. This was a significant change in 2025 where we outsourced the engineering department and created that partnership. That restructuring saved the city just about $440,000 on an annual basis. Moore Engineering jumped right in, and they've been working hard on updating the capital improvement plan and getting us into a good place. So we have good plans and projections, good numbers, and you see some of those things already coming to fruition in the work that you've done over the last few months. Highlighting our 2025 projects, we had the Freiburg roundabout in partnership with Ottertail County. We completed the ground storage reservoir demolition. We did a reconstruction project on Junius Avenue from Union to Cascade. We will be doing the final lift of asphalt this summer after getting that winter of freeze thaw and some wear and tear. Scenic Drive, Shoreview Drive, and then our annual mill and overlay and seal coat projects. 26, as you all know, is going to be a busy year for construction. We have our Lincoln Avenue alleyways and parking lot improvements, the trail being built on the dairy property, Cleveland, Cavour, and Douglas reconstruction projects, D Lagoon Park road work, the 210 bridge replacement and the 3 roundabouts out by the interstate, which James just held a meeting in here with businesses prior to this, and there'll be ongoing discussions related to that. And then mill and overlay on Pebble Lake Road and Freiburg Avenue as well. So busy summer ahead of us. That does not count the annual seal coat and mill and overlay projects, which will be in addition to all of these things. Lake Alice Grit Chambers, a number of other projects as well. So lots of work to be done in 2026, but wanted to highlight the significant change that we had in that department in 2025. Our finance department, which is led by our finance director, Bill Sonmore, big year for them as well. The major kind of driver of the year was the transition from our old AS400 system to our new IT system, Cassell, which has been a work in progress and is ongoing, but the bulk of that is done, and the finance system is operating as well as we can expect at this stage. Tax levy committee worked hard to reduce the preliminary budget of 8.13% down to the final tax levy increase of 1.85%. I think that group met a couple dozen times and spent a lot of hours doing that. And we're pleased with where we landed. What you can see there on the right side was a tax levy of 8.7 million and a total budget of for this year of 56.5 million. And then I want to mention Bill and the finance department was for the 34th year in a row, and Bill has been here that long. Feels like it. No. For the 34th year in a row, they received the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting from the GFOA, which is the Government Finance Officers Association. And we have a little silent celebration every year with Bill as he puts his plaque up. Actually, he does it when we're gone, so we can't give him a hard time. But they just received that award again within the last month. So congratulations to them. And as you all know, our finance team does a remarkable job. Fire department, led by Chief Ryan Muckow, had 4 new members join the crew in 2025. They awarded, I believe it was 2 civilian awards to individuals that made a difference in response. A couple of major things. You all approved the purchase of a new ladder truck, which was a over $2 million truck. That's got the shock and awe factor, so I like to say that as much as possible. But that's been ordered, and that's a number of years until we'll receive that, but we're in queue. Chief Muckow absorbed the emergency management duties with the retirement of Chief Berggren, and also the building department was shifted under the fire department to create some redundancy in building codes and fire codes and some collaboration, or in strengthening the collaboration that those two departments have together. And then the fire department also, within the last few years, absorbed all of the rental registration duties and inspections, which is a significant lift and a lot of work. And so I just want to acknowledge their willingness to, take more duties on, be a team player, and really work hard on behalf of the city. That's much appreciated. The fire department in 2025 had 484 calls for service, 3,600 hours of training amongst the department, and then 103 community engagements reaching an estimated 8,000 people where we were able to talk about fire safety, fire prevention, and the good work that the department does. So that's the fire department. You want to add anything to that? Okay. Building department, I mentioned they moved under the umbrella of the fire department. I also publicly want to mention that the building department is physically moving to the fire department or the fire hall. That build out is happening now, and we anticipate within the next 3 to 4 months they'll be fully operational down there. It's really a good move for us internally. It allows these folks that work together just about all day, every day, to be in closer proximity to each other, so there's more synergy. But also it's a good move for the public, as today that department is located within the basement of City Hall, and there's a number of stairs. It's not real accessible for the public. And the way we're setting this up at the fire station, they'll have a dedicated entrance on the east side of the building with dedicated parking. It'll be a level walk into the building and much more user-friendly. So I'm really excited about the prospects of those synergies between the fire department staff and our building official. In 2025, you can see the permit numbers there. We had 645 total permits, totaling just shy of $25 million. About 11 million of those were residential permits and 11.1 million commercial permits. and just over $1.3 million in plumbing and mechanical. And then there are other smaller various permits that make up the balance there. So another good and busy year within our building department. HR, which is overseen by Alicia Oliphant here. A busy year. Alicia's new to the team in 2025 with the departure of our old human resources director. There was 115 new or returning hires in 2025, only 7 of those being full-time, which really shows that we swell in the summertime with our seasonal help. We had our aquatic center for the first time, so we had to hire lifeguards and senior lifeguards and a pool manager. And it just shows the kind of flurry of activity that we see within our our HR department in the summertime and leading up to that. We had 4 retirements across the city. And then for the first time, we held a safety training summit where we set aside a half day and had all employees that needed to take some of our required OSHA trainings do those at the same time, as opposed to previously we would either on a every other month or quarterly basis offer multiple sessions of training down at the fire hall, and it was very disruptive to the operations. So we're able to knock that out all at the same time and get everybody in the same place and provide some good updates across the city. We're a very people-driven organization. You can see that in the payroll numbers. We have over $10.6 million in gross annual payroll, which, as you recall a few slides ago, the entire tax levy of the city was $8.7 million. So our wages exceed the tax levy by more than a few $1 million. And then we have nearly 1,700 years of combined service across the city. So that's 105 full-time employees, and then 103 part-time and on-call seasonal employees as well. And then this year will be busy year for HR as our contracts with all of our labor unions expire at the end of the year. So we'll have to work on negotiating new contracts throughout this calendar year. IT falls under our finance department, but this particular division is overseen by a staff of 1, and that's Dan Knutson. Dan by himself provides support to all departments and facilities and has really helped with the transition from the AS400 to Cassell. He's installed new credit card machines citywide, which are more secure and more user-friendly. And then he continues to support and oversee the employee awareness training as local governments across the state and country have to be very cognizant of cybersecurity concerns. We're a very heavy target for that, and Dan does a good job of ensuring that everybody knows what to look for and stays ahead of some of those trends. And then 2026, the heavy lift will be the security camera upgrades that you guys recently approved at one of your meetings, and then the annual change out of computers and upgrades. That's kind of an ongoing project, and we'll continue to do that as well. Landfill, garbage, and recycling. This is where we're going to get into some kind of dirty statistics here. Last year in 2025, thanks, Lisa, we had 8,360 tons of garbage, which is, if you're doing the math, that's 16.7 million pounds of garbage through the city. 126 tons of commercial recycling and 843 tons of residential recycling for a total of just shy of 970 tons. And that does not include cardboard recycling throughout the community. So, 970 versus 8360, we certainly would love to see that recycling number continue to go up and the garbage number continue to go down. But those are the statistics that we see. We had over 7,000 tons of municipal solid waste disposed at the landfill in 2025. And as you all know, in 2026, right away here, as road restrictions are off and the weather cooperates, you'll see the demo cell expansion project to really take off at the landfill to continue to provide capacity for municipal solid waste as it's brought out there. And then we had 5,100 tons of bypass sent to Gwinner, North Dakota, and just shy of 9,000 cubic yards of demolition debris brought to the landfill. So busy operation out there. And I will say that it's not common of a community of our size to have an operation like this. Not a lot of communities have landfills of this magnitude. and also operate their garbage and sewer, or garbage and recycling routes. So they do a great job. It's a staff of 3 out there led by Scott Thunsell. So really a neat operation. Thank you. Public Library, Gail Hedstrom, our library director, oversees this department. And if you haven't been to the public library, I would strongly encourage you to go and check it out. There's truly a program, an activity, a place, an item, you name it, they have it. You'll find something that you're interested in. We host at the library 5 children's story time sessions per week. In 2025, there were 201 children's programs with over 5,000 attendees. So it's often crawling with littles and high energy and a lot of fun. Some people would say stressful, but a lot of fun things happening at the library. We had over 1,800 participants in the summer reading program last year, which was remarkable. And it's always fun to hear Gail share the statistics after kind of like the first day of how many kids sign up. It's like a race to get signed up, and it's fun to watch. We had just shy of 135,000 patron visits last year. Physical circulation numbers were just shy of 200,000. We had 41,000 digital collection materials checked out, 11,000 plus library cards, and there were 1,400 new library cards issued in 2025. So really impressive number, and a lot of folks using the library. And then reference questions answered, just shy of 8,900 questions answered. And I jokingly said at Rotary the other day, if you do the math and you divide that by the number of days the library is open, that's a lot of questions per hour. I mean, they're constantly answering questions and assisting our patrons. In 2026, we're looking at a re-envisioned front plaza with seating, workspace, art, and nature. As we have learned in the 7 years, there it is, 6, 7. I gotta do that in case the kids are watching. No, in that number of years, we've learned what really works and what doesn't work, and so looking at re-energizing and re-envisioning that space. Anything you want to add? Okay. I made the same joke at Rotary, but I'm going to say it again. The only place busier than the library is the liquor store. We had over 240,000 transactions processed at our liquor stores, the East and West, last year, and over 300,000 shoppers with over $8 million in gross sales between the 2 stores. Brandon Curry is our liquor store manager and does a great job, really knows the industry well and keeps us competitive. We continuously are named one of the top 10 liquor stores in terms of volume in the state of Minnesota. That includes metro stores as well. So we really are high-performing, high-functioning stores here in Fergus Falls. 100% of those profits go back into the community to reduce property taxes. And for the last 20-plus years, there's been over $500,000 given back through this and other methods in the community. And then we have the largest selection that you'll find in central Minnesota with over 3,300 varieties of wine, 1,500 types of beer, and 2,700 types of liquor. So I would argue, like the library, you can find something for everybody. All right, moving on. Parks, Recreation, and Forestry. The highlight of 2025 for the Park and Rec Department was the Aquatic Center. We opened that for the first time back on June 2nd, I believe it was, and was just a remarkable summer, very successful, and looking forward to seeing what year 2 of that operation looks like. We were recognized as a Tree City USA for the 47th consecutive year, longest one going in Minnesota. We planted over 135 trees on the boulevards in 24 and 25. And we also had pickleball courts in Broadway Park, which were brand new for the first time and were very popular and very heavily used. So got a lot of good feedback from the pickleball community that those were a great addition. They want to see more happen throughout the community. I'm not a pickleball player myself, but I was told that it was hard to even find time to get on the courts. They were so busy, and they have a way of reserving the court with their paddles. Once a match is going, they put their paddles in, and then they get to use the court for the next match. There's like an a standard operating procedure in the pickleball world, which I'm not fully up to speed on, but what I was told, it was hard to even be able to get onto the courts because of the activity. So really great to see that. Our downtown splash pad had its second year of operation. We're still, trying to get all the kinks worked out there. The contractor was back fixing some of the things, but I would consider that to be a success as well. We had good traffic downtown with our splash pad. We had 1,468 registered summer recreation participants over the 9 activities that the city hosts. We had 600 adult softball participants. And then this statistic really floored me. 585 games and 325 practices on the city-owned ball fields in a really short period of time as we have a small season. So very busy, lots of activity going on out there. The Spees Pavilion, we saw 74 private events, and then the farmers market held 48 market events. So good activity downtown. And then we had over 2,700 activity hours at the community arena in 2025. So that place continues to be busy and be used by our user groups heavily. Oh, yes. Thank you. The D Lagoon Campground project was complete last year, and that'll be open for camping. We're aiming for May 1st. The reservation system just got put into place and was active as of the end of last week. So if folks want to reserve their spots, it works. You tested it? Okay, very good. So we're up and running. If folks want to reserve their spot, that's available now. And we encourage folks to sign up early and sign up often.
On that, I got asked the question whether we were doing like a grand opening for that.
It's not planned as of today, but yeah, we're happy to do that. I think we should celebrate some of those things that the community supported and the good work that's gone into them. We're in the process right now of recruiting a campground host, and I think when that happens, we'll work with them to lay out some of the rules and procedures, and then we'll get that planned. I think that's a good idea, Mayor, and maybe we'll just plan for May 1st. I don't even know what day of the week that is, if I'm being honest, but
Friday.
there you go. Tentatively, we'll put something together for May 1st and mark the occasion and celebrate the opening. Okay, the police department, we have Police Chief Justin Paul with us. He was a great addition to the team in 2025 after the retirement of Chief Kyle Berggren. We re-implemented the K9 program. You all got to meet Capo a few months back and see how the work that he's doing and hear about that. So we're excited about that. They really got proficient with the exterior drone in 2025, and you guys got to see just, I think, a real quick example of that when we were looking at the roof of the RTC. That was footage that was taken by our local PD with the drone and the very qualified operators within the department. So good technology to have in our back pocket and certainly used as appropriate. They were there quickly when we had the issue with the bell tower, and they were able to assess the damage safely from the ground, and that was very helpful that day. So really appreciate that technology. We've had 4 retirements within the department in 2025, and then we really strengthened and continued the partnership with Ottertail County for the mental health co-response, which is just a remarkable program and partnership that I think is very important in the community. The police department had 515 arrests in 2025, 405 citations, and just shy of 12,000 calls for service. So relatively busy department. 2026 officer recruitment and wellness will be a major focus of the chief, and then there will be a sergeant promotional process that happens as well. So looking forward to that. Anything you'd like to add, Chief?
No, sir.
Okay, excellent. Public Works. This is our largest in number department. We have 51 full-time employees. That balloons to 110 in our summer months with our mowers, park staff, recreation staff, all of the above. So you see all the different divisions within the department. I will touch on most of those here in the coming slides. So streets, shop, and fleet, we're going to share a lot of statistics because we all see what they do and appreciate the work that they do, but really break it down by numbers here. Somebody asked the question, what does a average snowfall response look like to remove snow from the entire community? And so we had our folks keep track and report back to us. Takes between 8 and 10 hours to plow and sand the streets, city parking lots, and alleys. So it's a full day of work every time that we deploy the entire crew, and that's dependent, of course, on snow depth and conditions. We use about 700 gallons of fuel for every time that we plow the city, 5,500 tons of salt and sand mix, and then we've applied 32,000 gallons. Let me back up. The 700 gallons and the 5,500 tons and 32,000 gallons we kept track from November to December of last year. The 8 to 10 hours is per event. And so 32,000 gallons of de-icer has been applied. The public doesn't necessarily see that because it's in the middle of the night and it's typically before an event. So if you see the lines on the street after the snow is gone, that's a sign that the de-icer has been spread, and it's been really impressive to see that work. So we have over 200 units that are serviced within the shop fleet, and we have 2 in-house mechanics and a fabricator. Am I missing anyone? So they oversee the entire fleet. I wanted to talk about some of our fuel costs. In 2025, total fuel costs for the city were $285,000. They were lower than expected as we used only 81.3% of that budget. And the breakdown is 57,000 gallons of diesel and about 33,800 gallons of unleaded fuel. So significant fuel use, but less than anticipated, so that's good. And then equipment purchases are made for streets, parks, landfill, refuse, recycling, and police squads within our fleet management department at the shop. You want to add anything? Good? Yeah, Dan Gaines oversees a lot of that work and does a good job. You guys met him a few weeks ago at a council meeting. So, our utility department, they continuously are working at upgrading water valves and lift stations throughout the community. There's been a lot of work on lead and copper service lines as we do the inventory, as we completed the inventory and look forward to replacing of those lines. We had the new traffic cabinet installed at Lincoln and Union in 2025, which was unfortunate timing with our pilot project downtown, and we had a lot of flashing reds and chaos at intersections, but that project was complete. And in 2026, we'll be looking at upgrading the Channing and Minnesota Motors lift stations as well. The Minnesota Motors lift station is a significant one for us. It handles a large area within the community and is one of our oldest lift stations. So it'll be a much needed upgrade there. And then just wanted to highlight the number of commercial and residential utility accounts that we have. You can kind of see that there's a number that don't have sewer service that pay a storm sewer bill, and then slightly more are connected to water but still don't have that sewer service. So about 5,100 customers, give or take, or accounts, I should say. The water plant, we have 3 operators at the plant that do everything with a total of 84 years of experience. Each of those has their Class A operator certificate through the Minnesota Department of Health, which is not an easy certificate to obtain. So really experienced and advanced operators out there. There was 371 million gallons of safe drinking water provided to the community in 2025. So a significant operation. They do a great job of maintaining that plant. The plant is relatively old, but the maintenance and repairs that they've done and kept ahead of really will keep that thing functioning well into the future. So really appreciate the work that they do out there. And Chad Lindgren is our supervisor at the water plant. Wastewater treatment plant. This is the one we call the new wastewater plant. It's 42 years old already. And they also, this is not a typo, they also have 3 operators with 84 years of experience. So really neat, ironic that they have the same number of operators, same amount of experience, but really experienced operators that do a really good job, led by Matt Limke out there. We have 93 miles of sanitary sewer pipeline that flows to the plant, and the plant received and treated more than 500 million gallons of wastewater. You'll ask, well, how did we only use 371 million gallons from the water plant, but we treated 500 million? We brought in the 2.1 million gallons of wastewater from outside the city, which generates additional revenue. That would be through either other facilities or haulers like emptying septic systems or septic tanks. And then you'll always see a bigger number at the wastewater plant versus the water plant because any infiltration or anything else that happens to be dumped or gets into a line that didn't originate at the water plant would ultimately get to the sewer plant and be treated, so it would be included in those numbers. The grossest statistic that I'll share is that 1.7 million gallons of biosolids were land applied in 2025, which is 297 semi-truck loads that were placed on farmland for beneficial reuse, and I won't provide any more detail than that. So beyond the departments of the city, we wanted to touch on some of the city amenities and what really makes Fergus Falls a great place to live. And Lynn created this word cloud based on just a number of things that department heads threw out as things that they really enjoy about the community and assets of the community. So you'll see a lot of things that are familiar: in-state, healthcare, parks, you name it. It's on there. It makes the city a great place. So I'll talk about some of those amenities now. The first being the Bigwood Event Center, which is city-owned and operated. And just wanted to share that for 2026, we have 51 events that are already on the books. That includes 8 weddings, 36 meetings, 2 elections, 4 expos, 1 holiday party, and a class reunion. And we're always looking to fill the space and looking for more events on top of that as well. So we're happy to have our staff help you with the corporate meetings, weddings, trade expos, any sort of event that you can imagine. We can make the space work. So,
They had a huge wedding on Saturday. It was a big number for gross. Good.
Excellent, good. The senior center, they had a busy year. They had 8,342 folks attend their general events. Over 2,000 individuals attended classes and seminars at the senior center. They served over 20,000 meals through their nutrition program. 439 members at the senior center and over 950 hours from volunteers to make that a success at the senior center. Their 2 annual fundraisers, or their big fundraisers, are the spaghetti feed and the bake sale, which are a lot of fun, and they do a great job baking. You got to get there early to get the best stuff. So you'll see us walking down from City Hall to take part in that. And they have a couple of exciting things. They had a new lift that was installed in 2025. They continued to connect with the community through the Adopt a Park and Adopt a Class programs. They maintain downtown flower planters in front of the senior center, and they've done other service-oriented events like the clothes and food drives that they put on in 2025. And Kim Shea is the director of the senior center and has been with us for a long time and does a great job. Pebble Lake Golf Course, you guys heard these numbers 2 weeks ago from Kevin Swenson, the director of golf out there. Had over 25,000 rounds of golf played. They were open for 186 days, 286 season pass holders. I don't need to repeat all that, but I will say that in 2026, we're looking at what a new clubhouse might potentially look like and a partnership on that, and then looking for long-term lease agreement as we've done 1 year kind of limp-alongs over the last couple of years, looking for a more permanent solution there. And amenities that were omitted, we either didn't get a response or they're contained in other areas, so we didn't forget anybody or leave anybody out, but lots of things going on, and I just want to acknowledge the great team that we have at the city, those 105 full-time and the other 100 part-time employees. do a great work across every corner of the city, and I think that's evident in some of these numbers and statistics. And want to thank them for a great year. Want to thank the city council for a great year. And we have already started to compile data and information for the 2026 annual report, and we'll do that throughout the year. So looking forward to making it as robust, if not more, next year, and doing this on an annual basis. So, questions? I have no clue what time it is.
5:10.
Okay, we're
You're
good.
good.
Okay.
You got 20 minutes of questions. So.
Yeah, fire away. If not, that's fine too.
Laurel?
How do the safety numbers, I don't think the number of incidents that are on here is very high with how many employees we have and the type of work many are doing. How does that compare to other years? Not that is it trending up, down? Does it stay about the same?
Compared to last year, we're about the same. We are up a little bit compared to 5 years ago. But we're hoping with the safety summit and ongoing safety trainings that we will reduce that amount. The mod factor did decrease though over the last 3 years.
Which ties to our workers' comp rates, and you've
Right,
seen a
that's
reduction
gone
in
down.
those.
Yep.
Yep.
Any other questions, Andrew?
Absolutely.
Scott?
With the move of the engineering department to outsourcing and with the move of the building department to the fire hall, has there been any conversation about what to do with the space that's now open here in City Hall?
Yes, Your Honor, Councilmember Kwame, there's been conversation, but I don't think there's been any decisions. We are looking at creating an additional meeting or conference space for internal use in the bigger area at the end of the hall down there. That's one thing that we often find is the Gold Room, which is the meeting space we have up behind in the administration area, is often used, and sometimes this room is maybe too big for a meeting, or isn't as conducive for a meeting. So having an extra meeting space will be very nice. And beyond that, no plan for the offices at this point in time, but we know in city government things can be cyclical, so you never know if there's going to be the desire to fill those offices, add different staff or areas, and so we will leave them kind of just in their existing state and see what happens over the coming years. Yeah, so what Guy was just saying is the conference room that I just explained at the end of the hallway will also double as a storm shelter. That's where if there's a tornado warning or something of the sort in City Hall where our staff is responding to or is meeting at, and we'll have the ability to have communications or television so people can see what's actually happening as opposed to just being locked in a room and having no idea what's happening outside. So we're going to equip that to be a comfortable storm shelter space as well, doubling as a conference room.
Since our last meeting, I've had a couple of inquiries about safety in this room. Has that been talked, asked if there were metal detectors here and things like that? I don't know that that's a need at this point, but that has come up from people that have viewed online.
Yeah, I mean, my response would be just opinion-based, right? I will say that folks that have a permit to carry can legally carry firearms within City Hall. We can't restrict that. And so there could be legal concealed carry permit holders that have firearms. So I don't know that a metal detector is
I don't
practical
either.
or helpful.
The question came up.
But, we do have law enforcement presence in the room. We have other law enforcement close by. We're very mindful and cognizant of what's happening in the room around us. I don't feel, and I'd maybe speak for the chief as well, we don't feel there's anything that's additionally warranted today, but that could change in the future. You want to talk at all about that? Your thoughts or?
Yeah, I think it's just one of those, ongoing discussions on, best practices. Is there, the ability to vacate this room and, kind of quickly get out. So I'm certainly happy to have any further conversations.
That's why those are unplugged.
And my other question was on the building permits, how many of those commercial and residential permits are actually in occupancy certificates at this point? Or is there some carryover in that for things that were issued like November, December that are actually happening this year? Do we know, or is that a Jason question?
Yeah, there's probably, that's a Jason question. There'd be some of that. I mean, this is permitted work in 25. There is certainly some carryover work, but that would be reflected every year.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions? If not, thank you. I think it's a
thank
good idea, as you say, to make it annual. I think it's a good way to kind of keep residents informed about, and also touch on the services that we actually do, because some people use one and some people don't use, and they forget they exist. So,
Absolutely.
thank you. Thank you.